frankly, that there's been a lack of innovation. Even though it was focused on engineering, there's been a lack of innovation for 20 plus years in the space.
Welcome to UpTech Report, our Apply Tech series. UpTech Report is sponsored by TerraLeap. Learn how to leverage the power of video at terraleap.io. Today, my guest, very excited, is joined by Hein, who's from California and San Jose, I believe, CEO of Propel. Welcome, Ray.
Thanks for having me, Alexander.
Yes. Now, your platform is a cloud-based PLM a product lifecycle management tool built on Salesforce, aimed to help create, commercialize, and correct products, getting from concept to customer. So for those who are effectively involved on the product development side and developing that from lead and sales and marketing to even after market service, and they're wanting to manage effectively that product to consumer, this could be a tool that they'll be interested in knowing more about. Can you share, Ray, how you originally discovered this problem, that it existed, and how has that problem evolved over time?
Sure. The problem in the category of PLM has been around for 20 plus years. So much like you've got CRM for the customer record, and you've got HRM for the people record, and you've got an ERP for finance, PLM is the fourth largest software category. It's been around for a long time. The problems, though, that it solved 20 plus years ago was really engineering manufacturing collaboration and trying to get products better handled by people that were moving from paper-based systems to computer-aided design, where there was a lot of files that needed to be shared and so forth. So the problem existed 20 plus years ago, and that was the problem that got solved. And frankly, there's been a lack of innovation. Even though it was focused on engineering, there's been a lack of innovation for 20 plus years in the space. So about 5-6 years ago, I looked at the space again after being at Agile Oracle for 10 plus years and building the category, from say 1995 to 2007. The problems were different. And so the problem was that the whole notion of getting sales and marketing and the customer involved was a gap. So we formed the company to solve that problem of really going and putting what I call the big L in the life cycle, to bring, engineering and manufacturing, sales and marketing, aftermarket service, and the customer all together in a kind of a collaborative hub, if you will, kind of a hub and spoke network hub.
Now, you definitely, as you stay there, you're not new to understanding this market or the needs of it. For those that are intrigued to hear more about Ray's story and how this all developed, stay tuned for part 2 of our interview. But to give a taste of it, it's about 5 years ago, right? 2015, you started Propel. If you could know one thing back 5 years ago, what would you wish you had known back then?
Great question. That the analysts, while they look at market shifts, and we talk a lot about digital transformation as being a hot buzzword, that there really was a gap and a need, and we were really driving digital transformation to move this category forward. And that while categories exist and there's a big definition of it, when you're actually trying to, disrupt, as people say, which I, again, overused buzzword, breaking people's notion and having them expand their thinking just takes longer than you think. And, my marketing team and other folks, as we go out there, people have to understand and gravitate towards that. And then there's this big aha, and then you get this upswell. So I think we're there now, but it just takes longer to change people's thinking than you would think when you're really trying to disrupt something.
I'm excited to hear more of that story when we get into that in part 2 of our conversation. But to understand the platform where it is now, Propel, you say on your site, streamline product development with company-wide collaboration. Let's dive in a little bit more. Maybe you can give a use case of one of your clients of what does it look like throughout the entire life cycle of a product.
We sell into like 3 different primary industry segments. So I'll take one that I think is kind of interesting. It's a company that is a joint venture between AB InBev, which is the old Anheuser-Busch AB part, and Keurig, which is obviously the coffee makers that we all use. And they're a customer of ours, where they were doing a joint venture to come up with an adult beverage maker. So if you want a mojito or cosmopolitan, that you could get a pod, and create that. Instead of coffee for breakfast, you can have your adult beverage. All kidding aside, but they had a go-to-market problem that they were trying to assess. So when we talked to them, they said typically a consumer product takes 3 to 5 years to bring to market, and they wanted to accelerate that. And so by bringing everybody, the design and engineering, the supply chain that they were building and ramping up in China for manufacturing, the AB InBev side for the alcohol pods, and then thinking about, boy, they have to launch this, and then every state with ABC, the Alcohol Beverage Control Boards, have to approve that this can be put out there. And now you're going to have basically a subscription service, a recurring revenue model for these pods. They had to think about all of that at the same time and design and launch the teams, the products, the process of launch, and then compress that all down. And I'm happy to say that, they were very small team, like 15, 20 people, kind of a skunk works team. And we've, ridden with them to now being, well over 100, 150, 200 people now. And their whole teams, that whole network of all those people, all collaborate using Propel. And the last piece, obviously within COVID, everybody working from home. When I talked to the senior leader, the champion that was excited about it, he's like, we could not be running our business without Propel because it's 100% in the cloud. And it allows us to have business continuity and resilience because we actually built our systems and processes with this in mind.
Having that conversation and collaboration across departments, I imagine both can speed up and make it more efficient, but is essential in an era where we're all working remotely right now. Curious, can you dive in a bit deeper on the technology? How is it different? How is it work efficiently if someone's to log in and use that type of dashboard, and what's behind that?
Another great question. So as you mentioned at the top of the conversation, there are technology platforms that every software company has choices to make, whether it's Amazon or Microsoft or Google Cloud platforms. And we chose the Salesforce technology platform, which is a full development platform, because we really wanted to change the notion of PLM to be both customer and product centric. And so it was just the natural choice from that aspect. But we did get the full technology stack. And I had prior experience in a configure price quote company called Aptus, and had just seen how much faster we could develop if we only had to build the business domain and the application, and I didn't have to build the plumbing and the technology side. So we get database, we get the DevOps services, we get the security side, the controls, the dashboarding and reporting all underneath, but we get to expose it all up into business use cases for key users that love our product.
This fits so nicely in our Apply Tech series, because it's one thing to come up with a new technology, it's theoretical or just testing, but another to provide a complete solution. It's actually helpful when you base it off of other, you said plumbing, that you can provide that last mile. That's what people really need to solve the problem. And especially for this type of situation, when product development through entire life cycle for consumers, you are able to provide that last mile. I don't know if I'm describing that effectively.
No, you are. And, at the end of the day, a lot of our competitors have, old legacy technologies still on-prem, trying to move over to SaaS, and they're proprietary. And what we're seeing is at the CTO, CIO level, it's a platform war. The large folks are winning at the platform level. And so if the platform is standard, but like Salesforce is becoming standard in businesses, many places, or SAP, or maybe Oracle, trying to drive it from their side. So the big box business systems, if you will. So there's platform war. So us gravitating and grabbing onto that Salesforce side just makes it, that plumbing side and technology, so easy for us to check the box on that side and not have to worry about security and the other side. And the last piece, Alexander, is that because there's this platform war, there's also this consolidation and reduction where the CIOs and CTOs, they don't want 20, 30, 50. With the proliferation of SaaS, there's just way too many applications that aren't connected. Now they're trying to reconnect. So if you can gravitate towards a big platform and then have a common UI, common experience, reduce the cost of the IT ownership, the value is very high. It's very easy for people to to get user adoption because of that common user interface and that common UI with this new, common platform.
It's definitely the trend is going where SaaS is exploding, and the number of services people are using now that are cloud based is only growing. And it's always a question now for CTOs and other folks who are like, all right, how much more complexity are we really adding to our system? And that's a question when they decide, do I want to choose this new software and this new platform, and does it integrate well with other tools that we're using? And I suppose you, since you are based on Salesforce, you integrate them with any other type of application that has that same ability. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So, if it's a Salesforce business application or other application that runs on the Salesforce platform through App Exchange partners, that's pretty seamless and really easy to do. But there are technologies that, since Salesforce has been out for so long, that the APIs and the integration layer is just already pre-built and pre-wired. So it makes it very easy for us to integrate into front office or back office systems, whether it's ERP or design tools or other legacy, systems. That's core. When product is central, it needs to integrate well into other business systems.
What's your business model? Is it by seat, per month, per year? How does that work?
Yes. So it is by seat per month, per user per month. And then we have bands of different types of users as well. So, there are folks that are more casual users, or, in our medical device area, as a case in point, everybody in the company has to be trained and certified, to make sure that they're compliant for the FDA needs and so forth. So we have customers that have thousands of users that use our training module, that, they're trained on the right product to service it, or they're trained to know how to test it and launch it. So, we have lower cost seats to make it, less expensive and less friction, from that side. So yeah,
what's the best size of a company that, obviously almost any size could join, but what's the best utilized size of a company that say, yeah, this is a good solution for us?
We have like small startup companies that they know, especially in the medical device side, they have to capture all of their information and their design decisions early on. And as they go through, animal trials and human trials, and they need to document every aspect of that. So we've, done startup companies of 20 to 50 people to, companies where it's 200 to say 5,000 is kind of the sweet spot right now. But we are also seeing large global enterprises. Most of the large global enterprises had older systems, and now those are the ones that are coming back to us and saying, through digital transformation, they've already moved off of old legacy Siebel to Salesforce, or from PeopleSoft to Workday. Now they're looking at their next gen PLM systems. And so we're now seeing a lot of interest from the largest companies in the world coming our way as well.
Before someone decides to choose a platform like yours, what's common challenges that they're facing and problems that are arising, and they're feeling this on a regular basis?
Great point. I think it's, increased competition and compression of innovation. It's always a cycle of getting more products out faster, ensuring that you've got the right quality in the products. So, I look at like the Samsung Galaxy 7 as a great example. We all watched that and saw, well, boy, if you charge it, at home, it might catch on fire. If you're putting it on an airplane, it's going to catch on fire. Well, there was a late design problem in there, that the battery wasn't designed correctly for the application. So, people are worried about making sure that they design and deliver safe products, that the quality's there, and that they can stay up and innovate as fast as they can with the compression of innovation. And then now, probably more than ever, we're seeing people that used to be able to sell like direct to retail and brick and mortar, having to sell in through e-commerce channels and the like. So our commercialization aspect of our life cycle is helping companies sell, either through e-commerce or through configure, price, quote, and maybe markets of one where they're selling, really more custom engineered products. So the market dynamics are shifting. And the last piece to that too is more and more companies are shifting business models to subscription revenue models or outcomes. And so designing products and go-to-market initiatives has to be well thought all the way in the engineering manufacturing as well as the go-to-market aspects to take advantage of a subscription model. So like a Peloton bike model, it's the aftermarket subscription that is paying for the business. Or even one of our customers, Desktop Metal, who just went public, super cool company. They've been with us from the beginning. They do 3D printing on demand or print as a service. So there is subscription revenue. They're not just selling their 3D printers, but they're also doing print as a service as new revenue models. So those are the things that people solve when they think about holistically bringing products and customers together.
What's the most exciting feature that you guys have released lately or about to release that you'd want to share?
Oh, well, cool. I think the biggest one is we just launched some industry-based solutions. So we sell into high-tech CPG type companies like the AB InBev that I described, or Simply Safe that's making security, systems and the like. But we also sell into medical device customers, and we've got about a third of our customers are medical device companies, helping in many, many different ways. So we just launched what we call Propel for medical device, and we added some new capabilities of simplifying the whole problem reporting for what's called MedWatch. When there's an issue with a medical device, how do you report it to the FDA quickly, and how do you quickly resolve those problems? Resolve those problems. So it's part of our Propel for medical device. And then as people try to take these medical devices into different markets in Korea or other geographies, global product registration is key. And then how do you use it? So those are the cool things. So we're helping medical device companies be more compliant and get their products to market faster.
So even industry specific, that's powerful then, utilizing those tools. Where do you see the company in 5 years from now?
We're growing, anywhere between 75 to 150% year over year. We've had, just really good growth rate. The Gartner and Forrester and the analysts said that this movement of moving the old legacy system to SaaS is going to happen in the next 5 years, and we're actually seeing that. I think COVID and business resiliency is accelerating our business. But from a product side, we've got the foundations of kind of systems of collaboration, systems of insights that I think we'll see some things where we're going to be able to do predictive or take market insights back and help people think about outcomes and managing outcomes of products, and then monetize those outcomes as well through new models, because the customer product sides are working together, and people are more willing to pay for outcomes than they are willing to pay for some physical product.
Well, thank you so much, Ray, for giving us a quick deep dive into Propel. For those who want to learn more, go to propelplm.com and you can check out what they have there. Thanks again for your time, Ray.
My pleasure. Appreciate it.
Everyone, stay tuned for part 2 of our discussion interview to hear more around Ray's background and his story. I'm excited for that. So we'll see you guys next time. Have you seen a company using AI, machine learning, or other technology to transform the way we live, work, and do business? Go to uptechreport.com and let us know.